I'm Bindu Madhavi. I'm working as a manager policy and regulatory for ISA. ISA, India Energy Storage Alliance, is a leading alliance for energy storage and e-mobility industry. It has started in 2012 in India, although the mother parent company, which is a customized energy solution, it started since 1998 in USA. They are into providing energy management solutions for the US energy markets. They are into wholesale and retail electricity markets. In India, we have started operations in 2012. From that time, we have established with a vision of making Indian grid and transportation sector more competitive by providing a knowledge sharing platform for creating awareness about storage solutions and e-mobility solutions. Thankfully, from few years, it has been developed. Our market is going in that way. We are now 130 plus members from the industry, from Amar Raja, Exicom, Exide, Nextcharge, Renew. Similarly, many different renewable companies which are working with us, like part of our alliance. Energy storage and e-mobility industry, right from 2013, although it has a good importance which has been established in the Indian markets, although there was a good discussion at MOP and DHI about how with the large scale integration of renewables, what place storage can make a part of it. With the transportation sector, if the vision for the e-mobility, suppose we wanted to move to 2020 to 2030 to dependency from the fuel cells to EV cells. So there has been a significant planning right from the beginning 2013, which has been happening, and our ISA is very proud to being part of it, and whatever we can do in the policy advocacy part or the reports part with the help of our member companies, we were quite doing everything which we can do. From 2018, there has been a significant development, even from the 2017, when I say EV, first EV policy which has come in Karnataka. Similarly, from the renewable side, there has been a significant improvement, like importance of storage has been taken up with the 175 gigawatt of target which we have as a country for renewable energy. Similarly, for the 450 gigawatt of mega plan which we are wanted to achieve by 2030. So slowly, when there is a large scale of integration of renewables, obviously there has to be some kind of flexibility which is required for the system. So rather than depending on the conventional sources, even the international or the global experience, which we are looking forward for a sustainable solution, not just a sustainable solution shorter time, which is a economically feasible. Also, it is easily available. Also, it can be easily to install. Suppose if we take pumped hydro or gas plant, we do have some issues, right? Hydro will take some years to come up, or again they have some environmental issues, must run status. So all these issues can be resolved with the storage. So storage has a potential pickup, right when I take up the 2020 or 2021, which is I can say, and completely game over. I mean, game changer for the storage industry, because battery storage has been recognized as a champion sector by Prime Minister of India, and we have received PLI scheme, production linked incentive scheme of 18,100 crores, which has been released by under PLI scheme for the advanced battery manufacturing in India. For the 50 gigawatt of target plus a 5 gigawatt hour of Niche Technologies was the target which was set under this one. But there is a longer term vision and longer term possibilities, opportunities for the manufacturing in India. So when there is an indigenous manufacturing, we can expect there is a significant reduction in the prices for the batteries, which can eventually pass it on the EV sector or the RE sector, which can take the benefit of it. Earlier, there is a ACC manufacturing in place for the 50 gigawatt hour of planning for the battery manufacturing in India. Similarly, we have the demand generation policies. When we are producing this much amount of manufacturing in India, where does it all go? So government of India has planned similarly for the power sector also. If you look at the power sector, there is a clear definition, like a clear understanding from the government recently. It's like how we can mainly put our focus on the storage industry. Like they are including the many of the regulations to make storage part of it. If you look at the national electricity policy, which has been recently drafted by MOP, there has been a clear direction from the expert panel or the Ministry of Power how we can take the midterm review of the planning which has been done in India, and how we can include storage as part of it, so that investment can be planned. The large scale integration of RE which is coming up in now also, we have similar issue with the grid integration issues can be solved with that. So there is clear cut of policies which are available from the government of India, which shows that storage can actively participate and make use of it. When I'm saying storage has an opportunity, it is not just limited to a generation plus asset or a transmission plus asset or a distribution plus asset. When I'm saying a storage as an opportunity, it can be independent asset also. It can be clubbed with any of the all these three sources from the power sector, or it can be independent source all alone. Provided when you talk about the behind the meter applications, not just the front of the meter applications for the RE integration. So there is also other applications like ancillary services, frequency response, and demand supply responses. So all these pieces, they have a clear cut importance of storage is coming up. Similarly, now there is a round the clock power supply which is coming up in the trend. SECI has recently announced the guidelines. Similarly, one of the tender has also been rolled out. So when discoms or utilities need this kind of round the clock power, 24 into 7 power, they can't just depend on the RE, right? Because you cannot expect when the solar can be there in the nighttime, or wind can be fluctuating. So for that, there should be some resource that can be storage, which is a hybrid storage project, which can be clubbed with either with the solar or the wind or the both together. So these kinds of projects also coming in trend with the SECI. There are many opportunities out there, not just center projects, also at states. We have many renewable energy policies which is coming up, solar policies which is coming up. In every of these policies, the important thing is the opportunities which is offering for the storage, so which can be of main utilization for the any upcoming bidder or any upcoming entrepreneur in this sector. Also similarly for the ancillary service regulations. When I'm saying ancillary service regulations, it's just whenever there is a disturbance in the grid, or there is any difference in the frequencies, or any differences in the voltage, there should be some resource should be readily available in case of emergencies or any kind of disturbances, which can immediately bring back the frequency to the normal level which has been defined under grid core. So that kind of response which can bring or which can help is storage. Now CERC in their draft regulation, they have allowed storage to be part of it. So any of the developer can come as an independent entity and can proceed as a secondary regulatory reserve or a tertiary regulatory reserve and support their services. Similarly, if we look at the behind the meter applications, main problem which utilities face or discom complain is about the unplanned or unscheduled power which is coming back to the grid. How they are going to manage when there are so many solar PV applications right now, or solar PV developers available, they can always bring back that power to the grid. Similarly, for the electric vehicles, there are many charging stations which are coming up. There are much of reactive power or reverse power which is going into the grid as well. So how that is going to observe? Now there is a storage facility which has been incentivized. This has been made part of the right of consumers that can be actively utilized. When a consumer comes with the storage along with the solar PV application, he can charge it in a daytime and can discharge it when there is in the night time, so that the peak power which is very high in the evening time or the peak time, that can be saved. Grid can be managed, or utility will be able to manage. So storage will be incentivized for the consumer, whoever is procuring it. Then again, you can see a lot of opportunities for the storage there as well. Similarly, for the uh, coming to the e-mobility sector, we have FAME India scheme, which was launched in 2015 for incentivizing the two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and four-wheelers, or any of the transportation vehicles which are coming up. So through FAME India scheme, they are not just encouraging the vehicle manufacturers, also their R&D, O&M, OEM, etc. These people are going to be largely getting benefit out of FAME 2 scheme. Similarly, we have PMP, Phased Manufacturing Program for XEV parts under FAME 2. So whenever there is a parts or manufacturing facilities that are available right there, so when they can do the indigenously, slowly they will cut off the whatever exports we are doing from the other countries, so that whoever the domestic manufacturers, they are going to supply to the individual EV manufacturers India. So there is a lot of scope there also. So if I have to see what are the for the startups across the storage value chain, what are the opportunities, I can say for the OEMs there is a lot of opportunities there. Similarly for the recyclers, this is again a one good trend that is going to be picked up in later on, like 1-2 years. You can see the rules and regulations also about it. It's like how we can use the second life batteries, or how can we again use it in the EV, which already used in the RE sector after 10 years of their lifetime, how we can reuse it. So all this is a very good opportunities there also for the component manufacturers or the raw material suppliers. There is a lot of opportunities there. Similarly for the EV components, vehicle servicing industry, charging infra companies, just not public charging, even for the we have regulations now in place when there is a larger community or larger societies, how they can come up with the charging infra within their building or within their premises. So there is a lot of scope there also for the startup companies to come up, even for the battery servicing. Again, one more interesting trend that is coming up in recent days is the IT and IoT developers, which is very important for a EV technology to pick up. That kind of opportunities out there, even for the design and engineering is picking up. So I can say there are multiple opportunities towards the energy storage and e-mobility startup. All we have to do is pick up the right opportunity and see what are the right kind of available funds from the government, or what kind of support we can expect from the government. For an example, if I have to see recently, India Seed Fund scheme has been approved by Department of Commerce. They are supposed to expected to support about 3,600 startups in coming future, next 5 years. So that kind of support is available from there in the government. Also, if you look at the Invest India or Startup India, they are doing their role to how we can support these startups which are coming up. All everything need is a industry connect, government connect, and investment connect. How best you can use all these three will factor how best you can utilize the opportunities available out there in the market. If I have to specifically talk about the opportunities for the renewable energy field in the storage market, I can say the current opportunities can be a independent asset. So government has this regulation by which they have announced the minimum capacity should be 50 megawatt. So any startup company which is wanted to continue as a continue to support to the grid, they should have a minimum facility of 50 megawatt. So they can be an independent asset, or they can tie up with the RE producers which are coming up, and they can come as a RE integration asset. Also, we are doing some advocacy at the DISCOM parts. Instead of just asking RE companies to come up with the RE plus asset, let DISCOM also come up with some kind of storage at each point of this peak power supply, wherever there is a large of demand, they can install some of these some of these storages, so that they can actively support the grid. So that kind of services are there. Also for the ancillary services, frequency response and grid regulation, they now a independent service provider in the secondary reserve as well as tertiary reserve. There is a lot of opportunities there. Even for the behind the meter applications, there is a microgrids which is taking up the potential information. Also, off late, if you observe, there is a replacement of diesel generators with the batteries. So there is a upcoming trend which is going to be there in near 5 years or 6 years. So that kind of opportunities can be best utilized. We can also talk about when charging stations are coming up. There are many states which are supporting RE plus storage kind of startups, so that they don't have to rely only on the grid or the discom. They can just tie up with the nearby RE producer or a nearby RE generating stations coupled with the storage. So their answer for the charging infra is solved. Similarly, for the discom, the backup power or the reverse power issue can be solved. Similarly, there are also opportunities there at the telecom towers or digital platform. There are one more interesting opportunity which is available for the technology developers. There are many kind of R&D incentives right now available for the technology developers. At the center end, like DST and all, they are offering many kind of startup fund or technology developments fund. Similarly, many states also now they have established separate fund out of if they are allotting 1,000 crores for a single EV project in India. So out of which 10% or 5% they are allocating to 5% to R&D, which will be given to the technology developers, that we can be taken best interest of. Similarly, raw material can be taken benefit of. Similarly, MSME benefits for the state policies can be taken best utilization. So we have released a report in 2014 about the how large scale integration of renewables is going to happen, what kind of support or storage technology is going to be taken up in next future. That we have done with the ISGF. Now, if you look at that project, even after 10 years, that still it can be an example. All the whatever we have classified and that in that map that can be implemented right now also. Similarly, we have done very good work on the ACC battery manufacturing with the Niti Aayog and Government of India, DHI, etc. So the very qualification or what kind of technologies has to come up and what kind of capabilities to be taken up, what kind of business sense has to be come up. All those inputs we have been consistently working with Niti Aayog on that. Similarly, our other policies like whenever Maharashtra or Telangana, I can cite more examples, but recent examples is Maharashtra and Telangana, wherein we have submitted our inputs to the government on when they are formulating these policies. Many of the support, whatever we have submitted, that has been clearly taken in the final regulation when they come up. Similarly, for the ancillary service regulation, right from beginning till 2021, we have been constantly in touch with CRC, constantly doing our advocacy with the CRC. Our head, our MD, Dr. Rahul Valvalkar is the member committee of Central Advisory Committee of CRC. He has been also constantly talking about how important is to bring out the ancillary services in India. And so finally, we are seeing all those inputs to be taken in the center or state regulations, and we are seeing altogether a good progress for storage. As I told you earlier, we have 130 plus member companies right now as part of Energy Storage Association, which covers around like all kinds of companies, World Bank, SoftBank, I say renewable companies, e-mobility companies, technology developers, etc. Similarly, we have a particular program which is very particular to the startup companies in India, why this initiative, we call it as a startup cohort program. We identify what are the emerging startups in Indian and international markets who are interested to deploy in India. So we help them, we support them, like we offer the industry connect required for them. We'll offer the government connect which is required for them. We also offer them the investment connect which is very essential for them to start up any programs. So they can be make best utilization of the contacts which is available right now with us. Similarly, they can use the contacts which we are making, investment contacts which we are making. Similarly, we can guide you, like whenever there is a new product or something, some new product which is available, we can, as a part of ISA website, that can be included as a product that can be seen by the many developers or many whoever visit the website. Similarly, we have an expert panel and mentor pool. You can get the access to that. Similarly, we have many webinars and knowledge sharing sessions, ISA Academy, ISA resource section. You will have the all the accessible to all those things. You can get the outreach and promotion through our internal magazine, which we call ETN magazine, that is very dedicated to storage and mobility sector there, wherein you will get that kind of exposure. All these through all these things, startups and entrepreneurs can take the best utilize of it. We also have the different workshops and sessions on the for the startups, how they can do the, I mean, what is the requirement, what should be the plan, and what should be the financial investment around, and there can be a round tables and pitch sessions. And there is also technology readiness and beta development. All these things we are working upon, which can be taken best utilization of it. One of the recent example of the success I can claim it about the Finergy, ISA startup member company, who has recently signed a MOU with the Indian Oil Corporation. They have entered into collaboration with Finergy Private Limited. They are going to manufacture aluminum air systems in India to boost Make in India program and recycle used articles out there. Once anyone is interested to know more about this ISR cohort program, you please reach out to me. I'll connect you to the right parties. They will explain you what is this program is about, how you can benefit out of this